Alrighty. Starting off, guys. All right. Hello, guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Let me put a little bit of music. A little bit of music for my soul. Hi. Hi, Gary. Gary, you always say hi and then you leave. I swear to God, I only seen you for like the first 5 minutes and then you're gone. But hi, man. Let me go ahead and put the alert just in case people didn't get it. I wish I could share the movie. I just don't. I mean, not the movie, the song. So I don't know if YouTube allows this song, and then gets my sound taken off. How was today? How do you guys trade? It's one of those days, right? One of those days. I stopped too. They're hitting my targets. I took a little lotto at the end, which was a mistake, right? It had some potential. Saw a quick 20% and then boom, it was gone. Well, the good thing is that you end the green. That's a good thing. For people on YouTube, the it's a little bit delayed, so whatever comes out on the comment section, on the chat, I mean, you'll kind of see me responding later. The YouTube link I got is right here, but it's basically the same thing, and you're gonna see it live right here. So it's the same thing, but people are joining, so that's good. I haven't seen some people in a while. By Scapegoat, welcome. And Yu, I remember Yu. We can chat over here on the stream. So make sure you put your questions and whatnot. We gonna talk about. Let's jump in, right? It's already 5 minutes in. We're gonna talk about we just to tell you my day trade today only consisted like I only took a lotto at the end. I booked some. I ended up swinging some Wayfair calls, which look at that clutch. I don't. You have no idea. I was a little bit heavy on that one, and I think I got saved. I mean, I did not see that this thing was gonna sell this much, but it was a good setup. I'm gonna get rid of this alert. But yeah, so I booked some profits right here on Wayfair. They were not that much of it actually, because I got in long right here, and right here I saw 15%, and I ended up taking right here 8%. So that's what made me get out because it was so much decay for further expiration. I was not even swinging weeklies. You know what I mean? So happy I got out of that trade. Uh, so it was a good so it was a good exit. A bad setup to say the least. I think this had a potential. It had this channel coming in on the hourly, but eventually you break it lower, right? Today at least, you wouldn't know that. I'm here thinking I'm buying the bottom of the channel. I want to hit the top side, and next thing I know, it's down here. So I was looking at the weekly. If you guys know some of my trading system, when I see a weekly resistance like this on the 20 EMA, like this, and the next, and then you have a weekly closing above it, then I'm shooting for further upside, right? But it's just they didn't even hold a weekly 20, so it was a good thing to get out. When something doesn't feel right, that's one of the trading rules, right? When something doesn't feel right, just get out of your trade, and that's basically it, right? Because at this point, the trade is working, and what should happen after coming in and going about the prior day high on a channel like this is that you should blast off, right? That's it. You should go like this immediately. The first 5 minutes should go like this and even like that. So when you already know that the it's not acting like it's supposed to, it's like hesitating to go up. It's time to get off, right? Get off the train. Um, so it was a cool lesson right there. And like I said, my main trade today was Nike. Um, Nike puts. I saw a little bit of exhaustion at the highs, inside candle break to the downside, with a clear target at the lows right here, for this lows right here. So that was a good setup right here. Actually, I think I had another. Yeah, had some more levels right here. So I got the March puts still. I took a weekly puts around right here and made 140% up to here. I didn't hold all the way up to here, just right here. Not exactly at the lows, but somewhere around when we breached. I had this level right when we breached it. I was like, I'm getting out right here because I don't know if it's gonna bounce, and roughly right here was around 140%. So those were the weeklies. The March ones I have not added to it anything like that, and they are down 40% right now. So it still has room to play out. It's not what I was looking for. So now the targets in mind are basically this one right here, which is 122.27 or so, which is it's gonna be around the daily 20. So it's not gonna be the same thing, and I suspect like if we get to that point, we might only be break even. So it is what it is, right? But I'm still holding until I see signs of that the move has ended. You know, uh, but the expectations are lower now. I mean, not lower on the price, but lower on the profits. You know, so we'll see what happens. And we got time, they're March. We'll see what happens because the markets are looking a little fragile, and that's what we're gonna talk about right now. We're gonna jump back to ES, my friends. ES. Let me clean this stuff. All right, much better. All right, much better right here. All right, I gotta remove this. All right. So, right off the bat, you guys notice that we are rejecting a trend line on the weekly. Everybody sees it. Everybody on their mother sees the mother of all trend lines. This is the mother of all trend lines, and we know that we poke above it on this week, but it's still valid. And I use trend lines very subjective, just an indication of the lower highs, where they at. When you're coming up to the trend line into a higher low, the chances are that it can break to the upside. So I'm not rolling out the possibility of this market turning around. We have to remember that Friday is OPEX, and we have max pain around 390 on SPY. So it kind of makes sense that we drop. There's a lot of puts open below it, so we might not drop that much. We have to see, right? The OPEX week is where you're a little bit more skeptical of the moves because of the highest gamma levels that you can hit. So we got this trend line. That's all we're gonna have right here, and we also know that we have the 618 retracement on the daily. So after this leg down, right here, you take you know how I use my fibs. You anchor from the highs to the lows of the move, so you can find fish points, right, where the market can turn around basically around the 50% or the 618, which is doing it right there. So being further upside after, let me see how many green days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up days, I guess, or 7 to 6 days going green. You're finally reaching a place where you can turn around, which is the 618. So it was a good area to short and whatnot. Today's action proved that it did not touch the prior day's high. So this is all in hindsight, right? We're seeing like kind of ignore this candle, right? We're seeing where we drop right here. So what happens next, right? This is I'm just talking about the past, right? It's kind of hindsight where we see the top right here. It's very hard to know when the market's gonna turn around when you're coming into it like this. Sometimes you just hit and reject immediately, right? And sometimes you hang out at the highs and then drop later on. So kind of like what it did, right? Because those highs are very subjective. It was a little incremental high. So you can tell that, you know, people that sell credit spreads, this is their jam, it doesn't matter when it does it as long as it does it in the future. And sell some credit, some call credit about this. After 6 days of going up, it just makes sense, right? We have to remember that this could be a pullback to the upside. So there's different perspectives that I'm gonna take a look at right now. So to start off, I take kind of the latest move to the upside on the daily, which happens to be somewhere like this. So this right here, overnight is already trading below it. This right here is basically where this move started because of this candle kind of finished the move right here. But I'm kind of skeptical of anchoring right there. So this becomes a 618 and right here the 65. It is trading lower, so we can rule out that right here on overnight is proving us that in fact this could be tested in the future, because once you trade below the 618, your likelihood chances to doing a full 100% retracement are increasingly higher, right? So this level may get tested in the future right here. Now let's look at another perspective, which is that the move starts from here, right? So from here, we have not even tested the 50% retracement. So a bounce back area can be the daily 20, which is right here. We'll see what the lows are looking at right here. There's no immediate bounce, immediate reaction. We'll have to monitor this, right? If we start having signs of a low right there on overnight, then that might be the lows to go higher, because it's just the daily 20. That's how it works, right? We still got the 50% retracement, and we got the 618 right here to go for from this move right here. You can also argue that you can anchor it right here. I don't like that anchor just because the kind of a lot of sideways in between. So kind of the move starts right here, right? Honestly, so I'll stick with that. I'll stick that the move starts right there. So those are gonna be main areas of interest right here and right here. Another thing that you have to notice is that the cash session has another a little bit more points of interest right here, which is this right here. This is something that an efficient that we spotted last week on the market. We know that there's a gap, and we know that the market may fill that inefficiency later on in the future. We know that statistically it takes like 3-4 days. Most of the gaps get filled. So we're coming into it, and most definitely it's probably gonna get filled. And if we do kind of the same perspective, it's about the same, right? We'll notice that the daily 20 EMA will be hitting the 50% retracement right here. So I am thinking that I pay more attention to this one right here. And why? It's because you can look at the past, how it reacts as a support and as a resistance. And it's just something that the daily 20 acts on the S&Ps, on the market overall, in fact. So we gotta monitor this very closely until tomorrow, right? Let's say if the market opens right here and we still have this inefficiency at the high, so I may look for a to go long into this just so we can fill this inefficiency and see what happens from there, because it will be a good level to long from. And if it doesn't, then then I'll be aiming for the 618 right here, right? 618, which is also like I guess you can tell at the top of this candle right here, it becomes a 618 as well in the future. So it makes sense. It's kind of like the little balance area high right there. I'll be looking for that to happen. If we open flat, I'll be looking to probably short it into this fill, into this daily 20, and then see what happens in the future, right? See what happens next. Now, any questions about this? You see the possibility of the market just opening flat, going about their business, dropping right here, bouncing, um, or basically opening right here and flushing through it and bouncing right here. There's a lot of possibilities, but I think at best a good scenario was it will be for the market to open flat so we could short the open or somewhere, right, somewhere in the open. Also keep in mind that uh, we have the point of control right here, which is 39.66. If the market was to trade up to here, remember that it's a heaviest traded price on the most traded price on the prior day with the most volume. I'm sorry, and and that will be a point of resistance, right? So if the market was to go higher, like 39.66, right, that could be a point of rejection into going lower. That's something that happens a lot. That's one of the setups that gets played a lot. Kind of like the opposite of what happens right here, right? Like you have a point of control on the prior day, the next day you drop into it, you kind of take a long into it and go from there, right? So, but now meaning the opposite, where the point of control rejects to the downside. So, so we got that going on. We're gonna keep on watch on that 39.66 and go from there. All right. Next up, anybody has any questions on SPX on ES? Oh, thank you, Vince. I see that you love my accent. I try my best to hide it. um, any questions? No questions. I'll move on. Let's see what we have going on next. So now next up, we're gonna look at NQ. Now, something that to note for is that the technology is not even pulling them back down that much. As much as bearish you saw today, as much as everything was looking super bearish, I don't think the market is really. I mean, it's what do you call it? It's not guilty until proven otherwise, or it's innocent until proven otherwise. So we'll see, right? We'll see because tech is not really pulling the hard, and we barely deleted this candle engulfed one day trading, one trading action on the bull side right here. So it's not a lot, right? If you look at ES, you basically engulfed what, 4 candles. Let it update real quick. Yeah, is this candle ended up covering this one, two, three, and almost four, right? One, two, three. This one is a little lower, but I mean it was heading there basically. So a lot more bearishness on the overall market than on NQ, and we're gonna see why, right? There might be we're gonna see that there might be some nuances out there. Yeah, Moonshell agrees with me. He says that it's not as bearish as we think. Like this can be confined in the terms that it can be a pullback, and we know that tech is one of the heaviest weighted. I mean, whatever's on the NQ, which is becomes discretionary and infotech, communications, all that. It's just 20 something percent of the S&P, so it's a lot. It's a lot, and right here we notice that we're not near any of the retracements, so it will make sense that if we drop the NQ into the 20 EMA, this one does not act that often to it. So it's just I'll still use it as a reference, and because it's gonna hit around the 32 retracement, right? Off of this move higher right here on this anchor. Now the 50% retracement comes all the way into here. No, that's still valid. That's still valid to hit right here and bounce. Until the NQ is really clear the 6.5 right here and starts trading all the way over here, then I'll consider that this is super bearish, and then we may break new lows, right? But it's not bullish or it's not bearish until proven otherwise, right? We're still in the realms that this can be a minor pullback, and it's just something that I'll be watching for in the future, right? Keep those areas on your charts. We do have a small inefficiency on the market on NDX on the index right here is super small, possibly not important. It's right here. So we'll keep an eye on that, right? We have this. Remember that we still have this perspective on this one right here from this candle. Yeah, we can still hit those levels right here, but the inefficiency comes all the way over here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Same idea. Um, Next up, I'm gonna look into um, what's it called? Oh, actually, this one, this one's hitting a trend line as well, very close to it. Not not to it. So don't put a lot of weight into trend lines. They're very misleading sometimes. Something like this. Did not bounce, stuff like that, right? So just use it as a just points of reference. Don't base your whole trade like that on some meaningless trend line. Just keep it on for the future references. Um, so next up, we're gonna look at the Dow Jones. We're gonna use what the futures. Let's use the futures. The futures, and this one is a lot more bearish than the rest, and you can see it right here. Let me see if I can get a new drawing set. Uh, all right, the Dow is clean right here. So right here, we see that the market traded a little bit about the 618 right here, and we see this bigger pullback on this candle. We gotta look at this fib perspective from here. Here, this one is trading below the 618 on this one. If we take the whole range, this overnights are the 6.5 right here. Basically, stopping at the 618 right here. So it's looking a lot more bearish. This one, look at this. If we ended up trading, I'm gonna set an alarm right here, an alert. If we ended up trading above all this action right here, I will consider that this is gonna get sold all the way into this demand area, and I don't think that holds, right. This whole consolidation for so many days, if you end up selling all the ways right here, I honestly think that this may just slash through it and come back down all the way through. So that that is very that's gonna be very key. Now, could this be the question? Is when I see something like this, can you know that the Dow is heavily industrials and whatnot, the what you call the old economy, even though it holds stuff like Apple, right? Um, you'll see that we could be in the midst of rotation. I don't want to rule it out, even though things are looking somewhat bearish and whatnot. The Q's not doing that big of a drop and coming into OPEX. We still have to think that this could be nothing but a but a rotation, right? And when something like that happens, then I'll be looking some overextended names to the upside that look like they were unshortable. Something like Boeing, it just kept grinding higher, and it's part of the industrials. And we'll see like something like XLI where Boeing is in. You'll see that this one is pulling a lot more than what you would think it was gonna do, right? You'll see names that were non-stop into the upside, something like General Electric, non-stop, having its first pullback. So can they keep going? Can this be just a little pullback into what just happened right here? I think so. It's just this thing did not retrace. It went a little bit ahead of itself. So we may see something. We may see some more opportunities on those names, right? I believe he's on the Dow or no? Maybe not. It's not. Um, let's see. Goldman Sachs is. This was the start of the pullback on the Dow. In fact, this earnings on Goldman Sachs right here, where it just sold all day. We also have UNH healthcare. The healthcare has been on a massive downtrend on all this. There's no end in sight, and honestly, when this is gonna end. I know ABBV is, let's say, is just an example because this is not on the Dow. We're having some heavy downside still on Pfizer. Is Pfizer on the Dow? I don't know, but you see something like Pfizer just selling off something that you will consider a blue chip company, right? It's getting sold into. I mean, maybe I'm some inexpert right here, but to me, selling this much right here does not seem like a rotation pullback, right? I know healthcare was one of the best performers in 2022, but still, right? It's a little bit too hard, to the downside, in my opinion. Where I mean, I think it looks more bearish than just a little sell and little rotation. I don't know. We still have something like Home Depot. I think somebody was saying that they were holding Home Depot swings, you know, stuff like that on the Dow. That if the Dow gets crazy to the downside, we're gonna see all these things drops. You see, Caterpillar after hitting all-time highs is finally dropping right here. I mean, and it's still a viable pullback. Who knows? Had to monitor this to see how the selling activity increments into this, and that's if the Dow starts breaking lower. McDonald's. You see this type of candle, McDonald's? That's crazy. That's crazy right there, right? Um, Visa. You'll see all this. So maybe it's good to look for continuation lower on those type of names. That'll be my well. That's some of the watch list I'm gonna be planning on for the next days. See if we can get some stuff that is overextended to the upside, and if we gonna end up getting some rotation, just think about it. If we're gonna end up getting some rotation out of these names into tech, they're gonna drop, right? If the whole market ends up selling, they are gonna drop. So I see it as a win-win situation. Hopefully, I mean, you still gotta manage your risk. Nothing is a sure thing, but I'll be looking at stuff in the Dow. I'll be looking at stuff in the Dow because it's looking much weaker. Um, well, I'll get to you, Moon Life. I'll get to you. Just and I'll yeah, McDonald's MKD or MCD. Yeah, McDonald's is giving out free nuggets right now, so so yeah, McDonald's. Yeah, I'll be looking to see if this downside accelerates even further, right? That'll be some good setups right there. Let me see what else is in the Dow that we can use. Um, yeah, I'm looking at the list right here. I mean, we know Apple is one, but Boeing looks appealing. Boeing looks appealing. I don't want to say that it has placed in a major top, but I mean, it's already has a divergence on at least on the stochastics, right? You see this higher high action with a lower high on the stochastics. Let's look at this on the RSI just to make sure. And I don't use this stuff very often, but let's look at this right here. Same idea, right? So you're overbought on the daily. You place a divergence right here. So maybe we can get a sell finally on Boeing. Maybe. I mean, people are giving up on shorting this stock. I think we should look into it. Maybe this is the time, right? Maybe. Only future will tell, and control your risk. That's the only thing we can do, right? We cannot tell Boeing to drop and break a leg. We cannot tell Boeing to do that, but we can manage our risk trying to be part of a drop like that, right? Um, Next up, let's see. Right, I think that's about it for the indices. I can go in through every individual sector. Let's look at something like Jets, right? That it's been going. If you notice how far it's been going to the upside. Earnings on airlines are mostly out, I believe. Look at that. We have some gaps to fill on UAL, right? We have the first earnings right here. Was it earnings that they had today? Yeah, they had earnings today. Big drop on it can have continuation. Let's see how far it gets. This thing is super overextended from daily 20. Let's look at the weekly. From the weekly 20, this thing is overextended towards the 32 retracement inefficiency right here. I mean, 50% retracement all the way over here. This could be my main target if I short this. You know, so overextended names that are experiencing their first down day, and like I said, if they were running them up for earnings, they have succeeded. Wall Street succeeded on that, and we just have to look for a good setup for them, right? Because just look at this, right? First daily candle like this and AAL. I'm gonna see maybe we get continuation lower. Some good opportunities right there. Even though this breakout is very bullish, it can just be a pullback, right? But I'll enjoy some of the pullback. I'll try to enjoy some of it. All right. So that's all I got for the indices and my trading plan for the next couple days. Let's look for the inefficiencies to fix, for overextensions to the upside, and actually, if the whole market was to sell, you can actually look for something like tech that was overextended to the upside, something like Roku. Look at how Roku was going like crazy, right? Up, up, up. Where do you short this? When do you sell it? Is the sell gonna come stronger, faster? Maybe. This is a setup that I like on the weekly. It's very close to the weekly. These are the weekly candles, very close to the weekly 20 MA. Doesn't actually touch it, and we can start having some downside right here, right? So something that has been running up like this. Let's see, right? Let's see what we can have on the future. Um, yeah, I'll be looking for the break of the 50, the break of this low, and possibly some kind of candle that will take it at least right here like this, right? So it's a good trade right there that can happen. We'll see. Yeah, I could be totally wrong. I have to rephrase that. I could be totally wrong, but that's something that I see. I mean, you always have to potentially look for those type of moments where the market experiences this downside, and you are into day one of the next drop, right? Because it's not gonna be a move that's gonna result in one day, right? But I mean, you can be baited and stuff like that with a candle like this. So that you think, oh, okay, it's gonna start coming down from here. I mean, it's just it can happen, right? What if tomorrow has a green candle like this, right? What if it opens higher like this? I wouldn't doubt it. It can happen. Um, so I get in a suggestion right here that to look into AMC and GME. I mean, I know meme stocks have been running hot, and I'm very against going into that area. Trying to be responsible or not. But if there's opportunity, there is opportunity, right? We're gonna take it. So let's start with GME. I'm sorry for my people that don't like meme stocks that like I do, but this was I was discussing with a friend whenever it starts having this bottom right here. He went long into GameStop, did not join it, and I told him that I will take it as far as the 50 MA. It has today it opened higher than that, and that would have been a long signal for me. I did this ended up going all the way over here, so I know it's showing some signs of life, but I have to remember you guys that every time GME shows a new sign of life, I'm gonna give you like this. It's just so it can drop lower. New sign of life. It's just so it can go drop lower. New sign of life. Drop lower. Maybe. We don't know that, right? Um, we don't know that. Let's look at. I think on the Fib perspective for this one, I'll be taking something like the weekly. Actually, I talk about this with my friend, right? The weekly perspective on the fibs anchoring from this high to this low will be one of my main indications, right? Like if I was long into GME, this is as far as I would take it, honestly. The 50% retracement right here, up to this level right here. It went higher. It went higher. That's for sure. Um, that's for sure. So we'll be looking to see what happens. I was looking for a possibly a pop into the weekly 20 because of this action right here, but it did not happen so far. So we'll see in the future. But I see you, Okami. I see you. But yeah, I mean, I'm very skeptical about those meme stocks, right? Because I believe for the next bull market, this thing's gotta get killed. The retail space has to move on from these names, and you know, and let them be some penny stocks that everybody forgets about and everybody remembers in the future. Like remember about those AMCs and EMEs? Yeah, yeah, it was a 2020 to 2022 kind of deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't trade those anymore. Nobody does. They're OTCs. That's what I'm hoping for. um, because so we can have bull markets somewhere else, right? Some other names that will get excited, penny stocks will be back in the game and whatnot. So AMC anchoring from this move lower, you'll notice that it's rejecting at the 50% retracement. That's as far as I will take it up to the upside if I was long, and that was a good short entry. Now it's gone. Stuff like this gives you a strike reversal type of pattern. So what you look for is gonna be basically a break of this low, a candle that will break this low right here, and we'll take this low as for a target, right? So something like this. That's something that I will look for. I will not. I don't see a bullishness on this trade because for these things to be bullish, they have to beat so many levels, right? You know, you're looking into the weekly 20, hitting it right here soon, possibly rejecting this week. And to be bullish, you honestly, you will have to trade about this high right here, all until $9. And I know you will. I know you're thinking like if it's a $6, and I think it's gonna be bullish until $9. Why don't I go build a position right here at 6? Because the only thing is that for you to what's it called, for you to have your odds in your favor, you had to basically make a series of you will call it a higher high and a higher low and something like this, right? That will be your first step, will be this, your second step will be this, and then you will join the pullback, and then that will be when you enjoy the upside, right? Even though you're missing out from $6, that will be a higher odds kind of trade for you, you know. So I know there's some excitement and whatnot. All those companies are trash, guys. I mean, we got BBVY going up, and they're filing for bankruptcy, right? They have, if you look at their balance sheet, they have a ton of, they're burning cash. They're burning cash like it's hot. And you have those news, you have the earnings report, and this thing jumps up like this. There's just some momentum, some short covering, you know. People got overly, or this was a super easy short, right? So now it's getting short squeezy, right? So those type of names will only be carried forward on short squeeze momentum. You know, who's gonna drop the ball, either the shorts or the longs, right? And go from there. Any suggestions besides that? Did you guys bring any setups that we can look at? Nick Chambers throw out MKD. I just thought like MKD is actually it's actually a ticker, but I think he meant MCD, which is McDonald's. Any setups, guys, on FCX puts? Let me see. All right. I do see what it's doing right now. I had a level right here. Look at this. I haven't traded this name since like right here. I traded this break on FCX. Uh, I like it. It does look good. It may have some downside. Let's see. Let's look at the weekly perspective. So to know you're not into a pullback of this move, let's take this weekly perspective. All right. So yeah, if you see the 50% retracement aligns with the daily 20 MA, I will probably look for shorts into this area if this ends up working. I have a peak level right here, 43.47. I don't know why. It's probably sometime. Oh yeah, this peak right here. Sometime I traded this in the past. So watch out, right? That if you short this, it might get a bounce right here. It's gonna be something that it broke out of, and it can be a support now that when it was resistance in the past. You know. So make sure. Yeah, it's yeah. Make sure you watch for this level, which is 43.47. I do think it has some downside. Just there's gonna be some support right here. I don't know if they'll hold or not, but they'll be. And then this will be my ultimate target. You know, if that was it. That if I was trading this. Let's see, Mara selling puts and calls in a range to the 10-11 resistance. I think those names are best. They're shortable, but it's best done in the Bitcoin era. In fact, if you notice, Bitcoin has not pulled that down, and in fact, Mara ran and Riot ran first. They bottom out first before Bitcoin did, and they start pushing higher before Bitcoin did, right? So they may drop before Bitcoin even does it. Who knows, right? There's you have your little island reversal right here, break of the low right here. This is in place 657s. If you're looking for a pullback to buy, you know, you gotta take your fib, like always. Looks like the daily 20 break did not hold, but there's no evidence that it has uh, done anything in the past, so I wouldn't use it. Um, so based off of this, a good level to buy will be somewhere around this level, right? 5.95 or so, $6. And if you're short into it, that will be like an ultimate target. Like if you can still run it, right? It's just that will be ultimate target for something like this. You're in $3 calls for 220.25. I mean, kudos to you, man. If you think that's a Bitcoin bottom, then it's gonna work. It's gonna work. That's if you think. I don't think the fundamentally speaking, we're there. I know we're at the period, the halving, where it shows a bottom of Bitcoin. So it is a possibility that Bitcoin has bottomed. Uh, but I think you would like to see. I mean, I know the biggest fundamental thing out there is the Fed, right? The Fed. Once they start cutting rates, you'll see any risk on assets, will pump to the skies, which is one of them is the biggest risk on assets is Bitcoin right now. Even though people consider it as an inflation hedge and whatnot, it is not, right? It's a risk on assets. So that gets pumped whenever whenever they start cutting interest rates, whenever we have a pivot. So yeah, I know your argument. There's not a risky asset. I understand that. It's just the market sees it as a risk on asset. That's the way it trades, as a risk on asset. You know, not that it's risky. It's a risk on. So whenever you're feeling like you should put on risk, you buy Bitcoin, right? That's what I mean. Like when you should join risk, you buy Bitcoin. Uh, so it's a risk on. I'm sorry, my pronunciation may be throwing people off. uh, so it's all perception, right? About the how we bottom on the market or not. I use fibs a lot because why do I use fibs, guys? Is because I use fibs a lot because it represents, that if this if you have a move like this, think about it. Should it be pulling back more than 2/3 or more of this area right here? Should it be going back down like this? I don't think it should, right? It should be. Think of it like this. Always the 50% retracement represents a 50% discount, and who doesn't love discounts? Who doesn't love discounts, right? Who doesn't love to get your favorite teacher jeans or whatever at 50% off, right? So if you saw this action and you're thinking, oh shit, Mara is at 86, it's almost at $9. It's whatever the price is in right here, and you're thinking, that you missed it, and you see $6 psychologically, you're thinking this is uh this is basically 50% off, right? So I'll take my 50% off discount and join the upside. So stuff should rebound around 50% retracement, just because of the psychological aspect and whatnot, right? Where buyers are still in control, and this thing will go further up. Um, Further than this, you still give it a chance. 618 is still a good discount. Let's buy it. But further than that, you're thinking that this is not a deal anymore. This is hurting. uh, so yeah, I see T Dog short to 24 says Moonchild. Let's look at that. Let's look at T Dog. I haven't opened T Dog in a while. Look at that. I used to use this favorite retracement right over here. So I traded some of the favorite right here. So basically, like I'll give you an example right here. I'll give you as an example right here. Sorry, this was too much of a zoom in. As an example right here. So we had this down move, and if the sellers were to control the price, they would not want to see it above the six below the 50 or below the 618. So once it breaks above all these areas, starts trading above it, then your path of least resistance, instead of going lower, is gonna go higher, right? So it's the opposite, right? Um, so we're gonna use the same approach right here. Same approach. If this move was to keep forward and not get invalidated, you will now want to see T-Duck below this, right? So you can actually get a short into the 25s or so, maybe into the 24s, right? Like you mentioned, 24, 24, 10, 24, 9, 24, 32 right here. And if it goes even further, if it trades up to here, then you're basically looking to trade all the way over here again. If not, make it actually new lower lows. Because on the other perspective, remember that the weekly has other perspective right here. Let's say, for example, uh, look at the top of that candle. Ooh, that's a cool, good setup. Look at the top of that candle on the weekly 20, right? You weekly 20. So you will take something of a move like this. Let's go back to a daily so we can appreciate the move and see that it's rejecting around the 50% retracement right here, right? So if we end up making a lower low, then you know, if we end up making going below the 620 on the bull side, then I'll be looking for like the lows. And if that breaches, then I'll be looking at this like a new low 2035 or so, like a little poker of it, like a 10% extension. That's what I go for, right? So level by level. Let's go. Another suggestion is Amazon. Amazon. So I think that I would like to short other names than big tech, just in case, just for the. I don't want to rule out. You do have a setup right here. I don't want to rule out that the market maybe having a rotation because of QQQ not being that bearish, right? But just let's take a look at it a little bit objectively. If you look at the weekly, let's clear this set right here. If you look at the weekly, we have a rejection off of the weekly 20 right here, and we may be having a rejection right here. Is this a retracement off of this weekly move? Not really. Not really. Not yet. It wasn't yet at the 50% retracement. So let's see. You do have a setup right there. You see that it's rejecting around the weekly 20 MA. You do have a lower low with a higher high, so it's an outside candle. You are you're closing at the low. So if I was short this name, something like this will be a target right here, 94.13, which is the low of this candle, along with the 50 MA on the daily right here. And if that goes crazy, then I'll be looking at a retracement to the upside for this like this. Then I'll be looking at the main target for short for Amazon, something like this, the 90.40s right here. Which we do have a little gap, a little bit of inefficiency right here to fix, you know. That'll be like the main area that I will look for to take it to if it ends up working to the downside. If we have further continuation to the downside. I don't want to get overly bearish because we do see when everything looks bearish, it's just a little bit impossible, right? So just keep in mind that you know just keep in mind that not everything can be looking bearish. And if you notice, this could have been the lows of the overnight because of the daily 20. As we talk about it, they just happen, right? If you were on the stream, you could possibly have picked up a long right here, and you're up a cool What is this? 39.37 into 39.42. A cool. What is that? 5 points. Yeah, you'll be up 5 points from here. So, could that be the lows? Could be. Oh, watch out, right? Watch out for the possibility that this could be just a pullback and this are the lows of the daily 20. All right. Uh, Last setup that I'm taking this one is Caterpillar. So it's one of the names that I was looking for a rejection. It's finally having it. I think this name. Say I traded some of it. This anchor is a little bit hard, in fact. All right. So for this move, I think we can drop into. If you notice, the daily 20 was has been support for a lot of times. You know. So if this was to drop, this will be one of the main targets. Possibly even pick up a long, right? But let's say if we do have end up having rotation, like I say, industrials can be a good short. This one kind of almost played out at the two up to down strat reversal. So like this target right here is almost met. So there's not a lot of gains to be had from here, right? But if he ends up going into the daily 20, which is also a retracement, then that'll be good. That'll be some good points to the downside at that moment. Hmm? Remy, just to tell you that the Amazon is looking good to drop because it's rejecting around the daily 20. I mean, weekly 20, I'm sorry. And we do have a gap to fill right here, and we have an outside candle start, an outside candle right here that most likely is breaking to the downside. So if it breaks that lower end, we'll be looking. This could be a target for you to have. In fact, this could be a target for you to have right here, since you have like a 50% retracement off of this move up to here right here. So a good short into 90.45 or so. That'll be a good level. Um, they fired 20,000 people. I didn't know that, but I have to remember that Amazon has a lot of warehouse jobs. It's not the same as Meta firing 10,000 people at Amazon firing 20,000 people. It's just different. We don't know what those jobs are, right? If they're tech jobs, then yeah, that will be bullish for the stock. Um, I just have no idea. All right, I'm gonna finish it right there, guys. I appreciate you guys coming by and appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys trusting Cubito and bringing some setups. I appreciate that a lot. Uh, we'll see what the market offers. Let's main focus for the next days is to analyze if this is just a pullback, you know, or is this a the start of the bear market? I mean, the back to the bear market again, right? I'm gonna try. You were long in futures, Okami. I'm glad. I'm gonna try to post more stuff on gold. I know day trades alerts has been a little dry. It's just I don't trade that much, guys. I spent all day trading, but I don't trade that many tickers. I don't take that many trades, and I've been trying to have them only on the VIP room, right? For because it's. I mean, I'm not gonna put everything out there for gold, right? But I'll try my best, because it looks a little dry. Yeah, it's just I just make I've been lately I just taking whatever looks like an A+ setup, and that's it. Because I do have a lot of setups that are B's or C's. Yeah, quality over quantity. Um, me and some friends are starting a project with journaling our trades for ourselves and for the group, and it's doing wonders. We can see what others are trading, the reasons of why they're getting in or not, and also it helps us accountable for like I have to show my trading journal to my friends. They know if I didn't do it or not. So I suggest you guys do it. It's pretty helpful, and I'll say manage your risk and see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, trade small, trade often. All right. See you guys. Cubito out.